At the top of the tower, with the whole world watching, Vane Taylor felt the knife slide into his back. He had climbed 100 floors, the first human ever to reach the top. It took him 20 years, and his own guild, the people he bled beside for 2 decades, killed him for the prize at the summit. The Tower of Iron had appeared over every city in the world on the same morning, 20 years before. Climb it, or be devoured by what poured out of its gates. Humanity was given no third choice. Those who awakened a system could grow stronger, level up, become something more. The rest were fodder. Vane had become the strongest of them all, and it had bought him exactly nothing. As the light left his eyes, the tower spoke to him for the first time in 20 years, and it offered him a deal. He did not remember saying yes. He only remembered the falling. Vane Taylor woke on the cold floor of a slum clinic, gasping. 20 years in the past, 20 years younger, unscarred, weak. The morning of the day he first awakened his system, and there it was, hanging in the air where it had appeared on this exact morning a lifetime ago. Awakening complete. Welcome, climber. Level 1. Level 1. After a lifetime at the peak of the world, the system called him Level 1. Most men, handed their youth again, would weep with joy. Vane only began to plan. He knew this tower, every floor, every guardian, every trap that had killed a friend, and he knew every face that would one day stand behind him at the summit and choose to put a blade in his back. This time, he would climb for himself, and the ones who betrayed him would never get the chance. But knowing the path is not the same as walking it. His mind held 20 years of mastery. His body held none of it. The techniques he remembered would tear this weak frame apart if he used them too soon. So he would do what no first-day climber in history had ever done. He would climb with a map of the future in his head. He stepped out of the clinic into a city he had watched burn, whole again, 20 years younger. And there, above the rooftops, exactly where memory said it would be, stood the Tower of Iron. On this day, in his first life, Vane had walked past it in fear and stayed weak for 3 more years. Not this time. This time he knew exactly where the first easy power was hidden, and exactly who else was coming for it, because on the first floor of the tower there was a skill, a small one. Everyone overlooked it. Vane never would. Embermark, the skill that, 20 years from now, would let him burn a path to the 100th floor. On day 1 it was almost worthless. Almost, and he knew how to make it priceless. He walked to the tower's base, where a frightened crowd of new climbers gathered at the glowing gate. Guild scouts circled them like wolves, recruiting the strong, sneering at the weak. Vane ignored them all. He was looking for one face in the crowd, a face the world would one day call a legend. There, at the very back, ragged, half-starved, scavenging a dropped ration bar off the ground. Saravine. In his first life, she became the greatest healer the tower ever produced. She died on the 80th floor, keeping his guild alive. She died, saving the very people who would, 20 floors later, murder him. She never knew what they were. This time, Vane would reach her first, before the guilds, before the betrayers ever learned her name. But a level 1 nobody does not simply walk up and recruit a future legend. He would have to earn it, and the tower, as it happened, was about to hand him the perfect chance. A gate beast. On the first floor. On the first day. Vane remembered this. He remembered it killed 9 people. In his first life, he had run. Today he knew exactly where it would strike and exactly how to kill it. The beast burst from the gate in a spray of stone and screaming. The crowd scattered like leaves. It went, as it always had, straight for the weakest prey at the edge of the crowd. Straight for Sarah. The guild scouts watched. A dying nobody was not worth a guild's blood. Vane had counted on that too. He could not yet fight it head on. This frail body would break, but he did not need to overpower it. He needed one clean strike. He knew this beast's anatomy better than its own mother. One soft point under the jaw. One instant when it lunged. Vane moved, not with a master's power, with a master's perfect, impossible timing. One thrust. Up, under the jaw, into the single point the system had taught him to find a lifetime ago. The gate beast that had killed 9 people in his first life dropped dead at his feet in front of everyone. Level up, level 2. How? A level 1 nobody had just soloed a gate beast with a borrowed knife. The guild scouts stopped sneering, and at the crowd's edge, the half-starved scavenger he had come to save stared at him as if seeing a ghost. Vane did not bask in it. He simply turned, walked to her, and offered his hand. "You're hurt." "Let me see." "I don't take charity," she snapped, jerking back. He had expected that. In his first life, that pride had killed her. "It isn't charity," Vane said. "It's an investment. You have a gift you don't even know about yet." "I do." She laughed in his face. A starving scavenger with a gift. But she did not walk away. And that was a beginning. Before he could press further, a heavy gauntlet landed on Vane's shoulder. The guilds had decided he was worth taking. Talent like that belongs to a guild, boy. Ours. "Come quietly and we'll make you rich." Vane knew this guild. In 19 years, 2 of its officers would be standing at the summit when the knife went in. "No," he said simply. The recruiter's smile curdled. "Nobody told a guild no on day 1. Maybe you didn't hear me, fodder." The gauntlet tightened. Around them, the recruiter's men closed in. Vane sighed. He had hoped to avoid drawing attention this early, but some lessons had to be taught in public. He could not beat a full guild squad, not at level 2, but he did not need to beat them. He needed to humiliate one of them. He knew this recruiter's fighting style. He had trained the man's grandson 3 lifetimes of skill ago. The recruiter swung. Vane stepped inside it, set one finger against the man's elbow, and used his own momentum against him. The armored recruiter flipped over his own arm and crashed flat on his back in front of his entire squad. It looked, to every witness, like the man had simply tripped over a level 2 nobody. Vane made very sure it looked that way, but Sarah had watched his feet. And Sarah, even half-starved, was far too clever to believe in luck. The recruiter scrambled up, purple with rage and shame. "You're dead, fodder. You hear me? Dead." Vane had not planned to make an enemy of this guild on day 1. He had just done it anyway. Some prices were worth paying. And then, for the first time since he woke, something happened that Vane did not remember. A new system prompt bloomed in his vision. One he had never seen in his entire first life. Anomaly detected. A second regressor walks the tower. Vane went very still. He was not the only one who had been sent back. Someone else remembered the future too. And if they remembered the future, then everything he knew, every trap and every traitor might already be wrong. Worse. A second regressor meant a second person who knew exactly how valuable Sarah Vine would become. Vane's careful, patient plan had just collided with the one thing he could not predict. Another player at his own table. He turned back to Sarah. The patient courtship he had planned was a luxury he no longer had. "I'm going to tell you something insane," he said quietly, "and you're going to want to walk away. Don't. In 1 year, a gate will open under the old market district. Everyone there dies, including the family you're trying to feed." She froze. She had told no one about her family. No one alive could know that. And yet this stranger did. "Who are you?" she whispered. It was the first time anyone in this new life had asked Vane the right question. "Someone who has already watched you die," Vane said, "saving people who didn't deserve it." "I came back to change that." Before she could answer, the tower gate screamed again. But this time, the sound was wrong. Vane's blood ran cold. In his first life, on day 1, only one beast came through that gate. He had killed it. A second beast should not exist. Unless someone, somewhere in that tower, was deliberately changing the rules. The other regressor had just made his first move, and he had made it aimed straight at the crowd. Vane grabbed Sarah's wrist. "Whatever you decide about me, decide it later. Right now, stay behind me." For the first time in 2 lifetimes, Vane Taylor was walking into a fight he did not already know how to win. And somewhere above, On a floor he could not see, the other regressor was watching. And smiling, the corrupted gate split open, and what stepped out was not a first-floor beast at all. It was a guardian. A floor boss. Dragged 20 floors down into a crowd of level ones who could not possibly survive it. This was murder. Elegant, deniable, mass murder, and only Vane understood that it was aimed at him. The guilt squad broke and ran. The scouts ran, everyone but Vane and the woman behind him. "You can't fight that," Sarah breathed. "Nobody can fight that." "I know," Vane said, "so I won't fight it. I'll cheat." Because Vane Taylor knew one thing the other regressor had forgotten. He had killed this exact guardian before, on the 10th floor, and every guardian, no matter how strong, had a flaw the system built into it. Vane had spent 20 years learning this one's. The problem was reaching it. The weak point was 20 feet up, on a monster that could end him in a single blow. "Sarah, that gift I mentioned, we're going to find out about it right now, or we both die." He pressed her hand flat against his own chest, over his heart. "When I say now, push everything you feel into me. Trust me. I don't even know what I am," she cried. "I do," he said. "You're the best healer the world will ever make." Now, Sarah. Now. And something inside Sarah Vin, dormant for a lifetime, woke for the first time. Golden light poured from her hand into Vane's chest. And his broken, level 2 body remembered, for 10 seconds, what it was to be a god. It would cost him. Channeling power this body couldn't hold would leave him crippled for days. He had 10 seconds. He would need 3. Vane moved. Not like a level 2 nobody. Like the strongest climber the Tower had ever known. He ran up the Guardian's own arm before it understood it was being attacked. The borrowed power screamed through his veins. Every technique of 20 years suddenly his to use again. He reached the weak point at the base of the Guardian's skull. And he struck it the way he had struck it 100 times in another life. The Floor Guardian, the monster that should have slaughtered 100 people, came apart in a single perfect blow. Anomalous Guardian defeated. Warning, power signature recorded, and the moment it died, the borrowed power left him. Vane dropped from the sky like a stone. He hit the rubble hard, every overstrained meridian in his young body screaming. He could not move. He had spent everything. And then golden light washed over him, gentle this time, and the screaming in his body began to ease. Sarah knelt over him, her newfound power flowing into his ruined body, her eyes wet with fury and wonder. "You knew," she said, voice shaking. "You knew I could do this. You knew all of it." "I told you," Vane managed with the ghost of a smile. "An investment." Around them, the survivors crept back, staring at the impossible thing they had seen. A legend had just been born in public. On day 1, Vane had saved the crowd. He had saved Sarah. He had taken his first real step up a tower he meant to own. But he had also been seen by the guilds, by the system, and by the one enemy he never knew existed. Somewhere above, the other regressor had learned 3 things. Vane was back. Vane was dangerous. And Vane had found the healer first. Vane Taylor had come back to bury the men who killed him. He had not counted on one of them coming back to bury him first. The climb had begun. And this time, he would not climb it alone, or unopposed. 3 days from now, the weakest hunter in the tower, level 2, half-crippled, hunted by an entire guild, takes an elite squad apart with the skill everyone else threw in the trash. To understand how a dead man came back to do this, we have to go back to the morning he made himself the most hunted nobody alive. On day 1, Vane Taylor soloed a floor guardian that should have slaughtered 100 people, and the whole tower saw it. The strongest climber who ever lived had just announced himself to the one enemy he never knew he had. And he could not stand up. Channeling power his level 2 body could not hold had burned every meridian in him. Days before he could walk. He did not have days. The guilds had seen a nobody solo a guardian. The betrayers had seen a threat. And somewhere above, the other regressor had seen everything. Sarah Vin, the half-starved scavenger he had saved, the healer whose power had just woken for the first time, did the one thing no one expected of a nobody. She hid the legend. Everyone was hunting a forgotten room beneath the slum, off every guild's map. She got him there before the dust settled, because she had already grasped the thing the guilds had not. A hurt Vane was worth more alive and hidden than dead and famous. Her healing was raw, new, and stronger than anything the tower had seen in 20 years. Days of recovery became hours. She did not fully understand what she was doing. Vane did. He had watched her do it on 100 floors in a life she did not remember. He told her the truth he had been circling. He was not strong yet. His body could not survive the techniques in his head, but there was one skill, small, despised, perfect, that could carry him until it could, and she was the only person alive who could let him use it past his limit. Ember Mark. A floor, one starter skill so weak that every climber drops it the instant they pass the training levels. It places a single tiny ember mark. On its own, a candle burn. Worthless, but the marks stack, and they detonate. Mark a beast's joints, a wall's fault line, a man's armor, quietly, patiently, then ignite them all at once at the one point that matters. A party trick in ignorant hands. In the hands of a man who remembers every weak point in the tower. A scalpel. So while the guilds hunted a legend, the legend quietly took back the one skill no one would ever think to take from him. The crappy floor. One skill beneath everyone's notice. His again. The first brick of the second climb, but Embermark cost him two. Every detonation strained the same broken body. Alone, he could place a handful of marks and pop them once before it dropped him. Alone. But with Sarah's hand on him, healing the strain as fast as it tore, he could cast past every limit his body had. More marks. Bigger blasts. Again and again, the despised skill and the overlooked healer. Together, a weapon the tower had no answer for. She did not just keep him standing. She started to learn him and to train him. Faster casts. More marks at once. In a year, with her at his side, he would place and detonate more ember marks than anyone alive. They only had to live the year. But the Betrayer Guild had not forgotten the nobody who made a fool of their recruiter. While Vane healed, they tore the slums apart looking for him, and a hidden man with a healer leaves a trail, if you know how to read it. They found the safe house. Of course they did. A squad of armed climbers against a half-healed man and a rookie healer. Sarah reached for him to run. Vane did not move. "I cannot outrun them," he said, "so I will not." He had spent the last hour doing something while she healed him. He had been marking the room, every beam, every door frame, every piece of the squad's own armor as they shoved through the door. Marked, tiny, invisible, worthless, until Vane closed his hand. The room came apart in a chain of precise ember blasts, not to kill, to collapse the entry and drop the squad in a heap, their own armor scorching at the joints. Sarah's hand on his back let him hold the cast a beat longer than his body could. He did not kill them. A pile of humiliated climbers tells a story of bad luck and a collapsed slum. A pile of corpses brings the guild's full weight. Vane had learned, in another life, the difference between winning and being noticed, but the recruiter crawling from the rubble had felt it. The impossible surgical precision of a worthless skill. He did not understand it. He only knew the level 2 fodder was something that should not exist, and that night came the clue Vane had been waiting for. The corrupted gate from day one, the guardian dragged down to murder him, had a signature, a way of bending the tower's rules that only someone who remembered the future could use. He had seen that exact pattern once before, on the 100th floor, the night he died. Whoever the other regressor was, Vane already knew them, had bled beside them, would be betrayed by them. Again, it was one of the people who threw him off the summit. One of them had taken the tower's deal too, and come back to finish what the knife started. Sarah found him in the dark, going over the same readout for the 100th time. She did not ask who he was anymore. She asked, "When do we start?" And the strongest climber the tower would ever know, hunted and half-healed on the first floor, finally had what he never had in his first life. Someone at his side who knew exactly what he was, and chose to climb anyway. Above them, on a floor no first-day climber should reach, the other regressors studied a single line of system text. A power signature recorded the day before, a worthless skill, used like a master's blade, and the smile that had watched Vane fall once began, slowly, to fade. Vane came back knowing every move his enemies would make. He has just learned. The board has a second player who knows them too. The climb continues. Tonight, the strongest climber who ever lived lies dying on a condemned clinic floor, and the healing that saved him twice is failing. To understand why a body 20 years young is rotting from the inside, we go back 12 hours. 12 hours earlier, the safe house is rubble, the squad humiliated, and the district gates slammed shut behind them. Someone with real power has ordered the slums sealed, white and gold banners over the slum checkpoints. Dorvin Hask, guild master, public hero, the man who will one day drive a blade through Vane's back, has come to collect the anomaly personally. Vane is still half crippled from the safe house cast. He can place 3 marks before his hands shake. Against Hask's sweep teams, that is not a weapon. It is a confession. Sarah knows the slums, the way Vane knows the tower. A condemned clinic, plague marked years ago, struck from every map. Even guild trackers will not cross a quarantine seal. They move through drainage tunnels under the sweep lines, Vane's arm over her shoulders, every patrol a held breath. He memorized 100 floors. She memorized this one. At the checkpoint, Dorvin Hask listens to his ruined recruiter describe a level 2 nobody with surgical detonations. The famous smile never moves. The eyes behind it begin to calculate. Hask's order is quiet and absolute. No kill squads, no noise. Find the anomaly, measure it, and bring it to him intact. Talent that impossible is not a threat to him. It is inventory. His teams carry something new, resonance crystals that taste residual mana like bloodhounds. Every cast Vane has made in 3 days is a footprint glowing in the dark. The clinic. Rotten cots, a cracked tower glyph lamp, dust thick as snow. Not a fortress, a place to disappear. If Vane casts nothing and his body holds, Sarah lays hands on him to finish what the safe house started. The strain damage should knit in an hour. It does not knit. It pushes back. Under her healing light she sees it. His meridians are not just burned. They are unraveling, thread by thread, deeper every day, like a body quietly refusing to exist. Vane goes very still. In his first life, this body was clumsy, weak, ordinary, but it was whole. Whatever is eating him now did not happen the first time. He opens the system and digs past the cheerful level 2 readout. Buried beneath it, a status line he has never seen on any climber in 2 lifetimes. A toll. Counting. Regression was not free. The tower's deal sent his mind back, and his borrowed body is paying the interest. Every cast past his limit shortens the loan. Sarah does the math out loud because he won't. At this rate of decay, the engine they built, her healing, his marks, isn't fueling his climb. It is spending his life. Then she finds the one mercy, where her light pools, the unraveling slows. She cannot cure what the tower wrote into him. She can outpace it, if she never stops. Outside, the crystals sing. A resonance team has crossed the quarantine seal that should have turned them back. Hask's people do not believe in plague marks. They believe in orders. 3 sweepers in the corridor. 1 cast from Vane, and the crystals will light up like dawn. No cast, and the door comes down anyway. The math has no good answer. So Sarah does the thing nobodies do best. She walks out to meet them. A slum healer in a plague clinic, exactly where a slum healer should be. She talks fever and quarantine and shows them a corpse-cold patient under a sheet. Vane, pulse slowed to nothing, the corruption in his veins doing the acting for him. The lead sweeper's crystal flickers anyway. Old mana, soaked in the walls, or something breathing under that sheet. He reaches for the cloth. 1 mark. Placed hours ago in a scrap pipe. Sarah dumped 2 streets over for exactly this. Vane detonates it, and every crystal in the district screams toward the decoy. The sweepers run toward the blast. 1 cast. That is all it took, and all it cost. Under the sheet, the black veins climb past Vane's elbow, and the cold open arrives. Vane convulsing on the clinic floor, the toll devouring what the cast spent, Sarah pouring everything she has into a body that is choosing to die. She doesn't stop. Past her limit, past the gray, out at the edge of her vision, golden light against the dark threads. Until, one by one, they loosen their grip. He wakes to dawn through broken shutters and Sarah unconscious against his cot, hands still on his chest. The strongest climber alive, saved twice in one night by a nobody. No more lies between them. He shows her the toll line. She names the terms. She keeps him alive. He teaches her everything. And they find what the tower took, together. At the checkpoint, Dorvan Hask studies the decoy crater. Wrong place, wrong residue, too convenient. He smiles at his men and tells them the anomaly is gone. He believes the opposite. He pockets a single resonance crystal, the one that flickered at a plague clinic door, and tells no one. Public hero. Private predator. Patient as a blade. And far above, the other regressor reads, the sweep reports too, and notices what Hask missed. A decoy is foreknowledge, and foreknowledge, in this tower, has exactly two owners. Vane survived the hunt with one cast and a corpse trick, but his system counts down. His hunter keeps a crystal, and his rival keeps a name. Whose clock runs out first? Tonight, a pillar of gold and ember light erupts from beneath the slums, and every guild scryer in the city turns toward it at once. The weapon that finally holds Vane's death at bay just told the whole world where he sleeps. Rewind 6 hours. 6 hours earlier. The clinic, the morning after the corpse trick. Sarah has healed him 3 times since dawn, and the red toll line has already eaten back everything she bought. The math is brutal. Her healing only works where her hands are. In a fight, her hands are the first thing an enemy removes. The engine they built needs her welded to his back forever. Then Vane says the quiet, insane thing he has been circling all morning. An ember mark stores his power in an object. So why not store hers? A mark that carries her light inside his fire. Every detonation would heal the very strain it costs. The engine wouldn't just be fueled by Sarah, it would carry her with it. Self-medicating fire. Sarah names the catch before he can. Fusing 2 mana natures is how climbers burst their own channels. If it goes wrong inside his unraveling body, there is no second attempt, and they cannot test it here. Fused resonance screams, but she knows a place. A gate scar, a dead rupture from the first year, deep under the district, sealed in glassy black rock. The slums say Swallow's mana hole, the one hole in the city no scryer watches. Across the city, Dorvan Hask publicly stands his sweep teams down. Privately, in a locked study, he sets the clinic door crystal in a calibration ring and teaches it to remember one flicker. And far above, the other regressor has stopped reading reports. They are descending. Floor by floor, unhurried, the way a man moves when he already knows where the road ends. Nightfall. They go down, past the drainage lines, past the bones of the first year dead, into tunnels where even the rats stop following. The patrol noise fades above them like weather. The gate scar. A cathedral of black glass where a rupture once burned and died. Sound goes flat here, mana goes flat here. Vane's mark, lit as a test, glows like a candle in a tomb. First attempt. Vane places a mark, Sarah pours light into it. Her gold slides off his fire like water off hot iron. The mark gutters, dies. Her healing refuses to live inside his flame. 10 failures. 20. Sarah's vision grays at the edges. Vane's wrist threads creep another inch. He tells her to stop. She reminds him, through her teeth, what she promised at dawn. They keep going. Then Vane sees the flaw. They are pouring her light into a finished mark, a sealed bottle. The fusion has to happen at the root, at the instant of casting. Her hand on his. 1 cast, 2 casters. Her palm over the back of his hand. Breathing matched. He begins the mark, she begins the min. Not after, not into, but with. 2 streams braided before either becomes anything at all. The mark takes. On the black glass blooms a glyph no system has ever recorded. Ember orange ringed around a living golden core, burning steady, drinking nothing from either of them. It does not give back. Vane detonates it. The blast splits a boulder clean, and the backlash that should tear his channels flows back through the mark as warmth, knitting as it spins. He casts again. The red toll line does not move. For the first time since he woke in this dying body, the countdown holds still. Vane laughs. Once, short, rusty. Sarah realizes she has never heard him do that. Neither has he in 20 years. Then the cavern answers. The detonations are gone, but their resonance is not. It hums in the black glass, building instead of fading. The dead rock that swallows mana does not swallow this, it remembers it. The glass is not a tomb. It is a bell, and their braided cast has struck it. The hum climbs through a kilometer of rock toward the city above, gathering, amplifying, hungry to be heard. And the cold open arrives. A pillar of braided light punches out of the slums into the night sky, and across the city, every scryer crystal, every guild sensor, every watching thing turns toward it at once. In a locked study across the city, the crystal in Dorvan Hask's calibration ring screams. He doesn't startle. He leans forward, slow as a closing trap, and watches it burn. He holds the crystal beside the beacon glow in his window, the flicker that pulsed at a plague clinic door, and the fire splitting the sky. The same signature. The anomaly he declared dead just signed its name, and on a tower stair, the descending figure stops mid-step, gold braided through ember. The ember they know. They watched it burn at the summit in another life, in the hand of the man they buried a blade in. But the gold is new. The dead anomaly is not only breathing. He climbs with a fire he never carried before. Below, Vane does the only thing that kills a bell. He breaks it. Marks flung across the resonating glass, detonated raw and unbraided, shattering the cavern's voice and dropping 1,000 tons of rock on their miracle. The pillar dies. The raw cast cost him. Black threads crawling toward his shoulder, Sarah's hands already glowing as they run. The beacon burned for 40 seconds. In this city, 40 seconds is a confession. They surface streets from the clinic and stop. Lanterns already moving through the quarantine line. The clinic is blown. Whatever they left there belongs to the hunters now. Sarah turns them toward her last fallback. In a flooded cellar that is now home, the ledger of the night, they own a weapon that holds his death at bay, and it cost them their invisibility. Vane dryly. We built a sword that screams. So he stops planning to be invisible and starts planning to be misread. If every scryer now knows that signature, then the signature becomes the weapon. Decoys, false trails, a ghost that lights up wherever Vane is not. Dorvan Hask does not call the guild. He calls 5 men who do not wear its colors, hands them the crystal's memory, and points them at the slums. No banners this time, no witnesses either. Hask hunts a signature. The rival hunts a memory. Only one of them knows that Ember belongs to a ghost they left at the summit, and that the gold woven through it means he did not come back alone. From his rooftop, Vane watches unmarked hunters slip into the slums under a sky still smelling of his own fire. He finally has a blade that won't kill him to swing. The question now, who reaches him first? Under a sky still bitter with the smell of his own fire, Vane crouches at the rooftop's edge and watches 5 unmarked hunters thread into the slums below. No banners, no guild colors. He has spent the whole night making himself impossible to pin down, and now he learns whether it was enough. In the flooded cellar below, his answer to those hunters already waits in a satchel. Junk seated with raw ember marks, a ghost signature primed to flare wherever he is not. Seed the whole district, and every scryer in the city chases a shadow. The plan is sound. The plan is already dead. Before dawn, the first decoy flares 2 districts east. Guild scryers stampede toward it, exactly as designed. The 5 unmarked hunters do not move. They stand in the dark, and they watch. Their crystal carries Hask's calibration, the beacon's braided gold and ember voice. The decoys burn raw ember, no golden core. To the crystal, they are not cover. They are breadcrumbs mapping where the prey wants eyes to go. All day, the 5 work the slums like surgeons. No banners, no questions twice. Informants stop answering doors. Small chalk marks appear on lane corners, a grid closing street by street around around the cellar district. Sarah comes back from the waterline pale. The chalk is 2 streets away now. Her last fallback. The only hole she had left is inside the net, and the net is not searching anymore. It is tightening. So Vane opens the one map nobody alive owns. Under the district, pre-tower maintenance galleries fused shut by a first-year rupture. In his first life, decades from now, his guild ran them as smuggling roads beneath the checkpoints. One thought snags as he draws. He never wrote these routes down, never spoke them aloud. Except to the handful who climb beside him to the summit, he files the thought away. There is no other door left. They move at full dark. Twice they freeze under eaves as a silent silhouette crosses a roofline above. Behind a collapsed bathhouse, Vane counts bricks no one has counted yet in this lifetime, and the wall opens. Down. 31 steps, then the low arch. Duck or bleed. A flooded junction, third channel dry. His memory runs the dark like a hand on an old scar. For once, the past is keeping him alive instead of killing him. Sarah asks quietly how he can know a place that was sealed before she was born. He tells her the junction names his guild used. Every name belongs to someone dead. Some of them died for these tunnels. Above and behind, the 5 hunters reach the bathhouse. The crystal tastes the air at the hatch and pulses, slow and certain. Residue. Passage. The leader signals once, and the dark swallows them too. Then Sarah stops dead. Her healers sense, tuned to bodies, feel something in the stone ahead. Strain. Like a wound held shut and waiting, Vane unshutters the lamp on the wall. And the dust gives up a glyph. It is not his mark, but its grammar is. Mark. Bury. Key. Wait. Root denial work. Layered charges with a patient trigger. The dust on it is months deep. Someone seeded this tunnel in the first days after the regression. He pans the lamp wider, and the cold open arrives. The whole dogleg is sewn with them. Dozens of buried charges, woven precisely along the path his guild once walked. Not a trap on his route. A trap made of his route. He reads the trigger key the way other men read handwriting. Tuned to mana in motion, a climber casting or carrying live marks dies in the first 3 steps. Built to kill exactly one kind of person. His kind. And the truth lands like a blade between the ribs. Whoever laid this did not find his route. They remembered it. Someone is walking through Vane's memories ahead of him, and mining them as they go. His hands shake, not from the toll. Then lamplight ripples on the water behind them. The hunters are in the tunnels, 5 blades at their backs, a kill corridor at their faces. Sarah looks at Vane. He is already counting. There is exactly 1 move on this board. His voice is flat, almost amused. A trap is only a weapon whose owner walked away. They will not disarm the corridor. They will thread it and leave it loaded for the men behind them. They go through cold. No casts, no live marks, mana banked to embers. Sarah's hand on his shoulder, her strained sense whispering where each buried charge sleeps. A step. A breath. Gravel ticks off a trigger stone, and the world holds still. Through. At the corridor's far mouth, Vane leaves a parting gift. 1 raw decoy mark from his satchel, lit bright and loud. The exact flavor the hunter's crystal was built to chase. Bait. Set on the far side of a loaded gun, the hunters reach the dogleg. Their crystal screams at the bait beyond. The leader, flush with the kill, floods his blade with mana and steps into the corridor, and a month-old glyph opens 1 red eye in the dust. The corridor goes off like a thing alive. Charge, waking charge, walls folding inward in sequenced thunder, a year of patient murder spinning itself in 4 seconds. Then the dust comes down like a curtain, and the tunnel is a grave. Silence. Then a soft blue chime in the dark. The system tallies 5 kills, credits them to the man who never threw a blow, and pays him a level. It rewards results. It is never once asked about intentions, but the trap has a last word. From the rubble, a single thread of ember light snakes up an air shaft toward the surface, a pulse racing away into the night. The corridor just reported its own death to whoever built it. In the rubble, Vane finds a sheared trap mark fused into black glass and stops breathing. He knows this doctrine because he wrote it on the high floors and taught it to exactly 7 climbers. All 7 stood on the summit the night he died. Dawn across the city. The check-in hour comes and goes. Dorvan Hask's crystal sits dark on its ring. 5 men who do not exist have stopped existing. He smiles at the silence. Because silence, too, is information. He burns 5 personnel pages in a brass dish and opens a deeper drawer. The anomaly did not just survive his quiet hunt, it erased it. Hask's patience does not break, it sharpens into something with a budget and no leash. Below, Vane and Sarah follow the smuggling road to its end, a fused stair rising to a hatch beyond the district wall, outside every checkpoint Hask owns. The route still works. That is exactly what frightens him. In the exit chamber, the dust tells one last story. A single set of boot prints, months old, walking the room once and leaving, and scratched on the lintel, a climber's route sign from his first life. Its meaning has not changed. I was here first. They surface into cold, open air beyond the walls, out of Hask's sealed city at last. Sarah breathes. Vane does not. They have escaped one hunter's map by walking onto another's, and that one knows the terrain better. He drew it with Vane, and miles away, at the tower's base gate, a descending figure stops as a glyph in their gloved palm pulses once. The corridor's dying signal. They do not turn toward the slums everyone is watching. They turn toward the outworks, toward the exit. Vane came home with a level he never swung for and a list of 7 names. The rival came down with 1 signal and 1 exit, 2 memories of the same war, closing on the same patch of dark. Who remembers it better? The gate tunnel spills them into cold pre-dawn air, out beyond Hask's sealed walls at last. Sarah breathes. Vane does not. He came up from the dark with a level he never swung for and a list of 7 names, and the certainty that at least one of those 7 can read this ground as well as he can. Sarah wants to move. Every instinct says put open ground between them and the tunnel mouth. Vane does not. The chamber behind them held months, old boot prints and a message, and a man who leaves messages expects them read in person. Then he sees it. Far across the broken ground, a figure in a long coat crossing the dark. Unhurried, exact, walking a line only 2 people alive have ever memorized. The corridor's dying signal did not fly to an empty post. No casts, no live marks, no breath louder than the wind. Vane pulls Sarah into a flooded cistern pit and banks his mana to nothing. The same cold discipline that beat the corridor turned on a hunter who taught beside him. The figure reaches the hatch and kneels in the exit chamber's dust, reading it exactly the way Vane would. 2 sets of fresh prints, 1 hour old. The rival's head tilts, almost amused. A gloved hand rises to the lintel and traces the old route sign. I was here first, like a man greeting his own handwriting. He knows his corridor is dead. He knows who killed it. He does not seem angry. Through a finger-width crack, Vane watches. No face, no voice, but the stance, weight low, shoulders squared to 2 exits at once, is summit trained. His own drilling, worn into someone's bones. One of his 7. He cannot tell which. The rival does not search the outworks. Instead, a knife point scratches a second sigil beneath the first. Old guild route code, and the figure walks away toward the city, coat snapping, leaving the message hanging in the dark like a hook. They wait an hour in freezing water before Vane moves. Sarah, shaking, asks who that was. He answers with the only truth he has, 1 of 7 people, all of whom he trusted with his life. 1 of whom ended it. They hole up in a ruined watch bastion on the outworks ridge, a shell of stone. Vane's guild once used as a dead drop, defensible, forgotten, and outside every map Hask owns. For now, the war room. Then Vane builds the list. 7 sigils scratched into the tabletop, the personal marks of the 7 climbers who stood on the summit. Vanguard, shield, 2 blades, a scout, a sage, and Dorvan Hask's golden crest, last of all. The logic is ice cold. The mines were laid days after the regression for a man no one knew had survived. Whoever came back never doubted Vane came back too. The rival knows something about the tower's deal that Vane does not. He turns to the evidence. The black glass fragment from the corridor, half a trap mark, frozen mid-thought. Mark Craft has handwriting, anchor side, stroke order, how the key is hidden. This hand anchored left and hid the key inside the detonation line. 3 of the 7 anchored right. Scratch them, for now. Of the rest, 1 ran route. Denial drills until his hands bled. Kale Dreth, his vanguard. In this timeline, already famous, already climbing, the first name on the list. Memory, unwanted, floor 90. Kale's spear holding a collapsing line alone so the others could climb. Vane would have died for that man. 3 months later, on the summit, 7 shadows watched him fall. KL's was one of them. The plan is surgical. Do not confront, observe. A regressed KL would leave fingerprints, drills he should not know, routes he should not take, fear of a dead man's name. Watch him for 1 day and the mask will slip. But Vane cannot enter the city. His body is failing and the gates hunt his signature. Sarah can. A wall clinic healer with real credentials and a face no crystal knows. She volunteers before he can forbid it. He gives in. The Dawn Pact cuts both ways. Then the rules. Flat and cold, watch from crowds, never twice from the same place, no healing in public, and if anything feels wrong, walk away and never look back. She memorizes everything. Midday. Sarah walks through the wall gate with a healer's pass and a steady pulse. The chalk grids are gone. Something quieter has replaced them. Watchers who do not wear colors and do not write anything down. In a locked study, Dorvan Hask turns the black iron key. The deep drawer holds 1 sealed contract he swore never to use, an outside specialist who hunts what guilds cannot admit exists. He breaks the seal without hesitating. Sarah finds Kyle Dreth easily. The whole guild quarter is his stage. A recruitment parade, a spear form demonstration, a smile for every sponsor. Alive, golden, beloved. Nothing about him says regressor. Nothing about him says victim either. But Sarah's strained sense, tuned to wounds held shut, keeps snagging on the rooftops above the plaza, stone under stress, a presence settled in like a held breath. Someone else is watching Kale Dreth. And has been for hours. In the bastion, Vane finally cracks the second lintel sigil. Old route code, 2 strokes deep, hunting ground claimed. Not a taunt, a boundary marker. The rival is not hunting Vane tonight. The rival is hunting the same 7 names. The pieces slam together, erase the betrayers, and no one alive can name the rival. The easiest of the 7 to find tonight is the one parading in daylight, and Sarah is standing in the blast radius. Vane starts running. Night. Inside Kyle's guild compound, the courtyard stones wake. Ember red glyphs blooming in a lattice. Kyle himself once drilled against. He fights it. He is good. He is 20 years too early to be good enough, and the cold open arrives. By dawn, Kale Dreth hangs from his own guild gate, framed and dead trap marks for the whole city to read. Not hidden, displayed. A murder staged as an announcement in a language only 2 men speak. Sarah reaches the plaza with the morning crowd and goes cold. The glyph frame around the corpse uses the same grammar as the tunnel mines. Mark, Barry, Key. Wait. She has seen this handwriting before, an inch from her face. Dorvan Hask arrives with the dawn and reads the residue himself. No gold core, not his anomaly's voice. A second signature, older, crueler, unregistered. He smiles for the crowd and understands, privately, that he has been hunting half the board. Sarah walks out of the city the long way, clean, and reaches the bastion as Vane does. Her report is 3 sentences. His list just got shorter, and the way it got shorter is worse than any answer. He scores Kale's sigil from the table. Not grief. Kale helped kill him. But every dead betrayer is a witness erased, a question Vane can never ask, a mouth that can no longer name the rival. The dead keep secrets perfectly. Now it is a race with 2 finish lines, 6 names left. The rival kills them faster than Vane can investigate them, and each public corpse drags every guild scryer, every hunter, and Dorvan Hask closer to the same patch of dark. Hunting ground claimed. The message meant, stay out of my hunt, ghost. Vane reads it one last time and makes his answer. He will reach the next name first, not to save a betrayer, to catch the knife mid-swing. Across the plaza rooftops, the rival turns from the corpse the city is screaming about to the crowd. One face from the 100th floor catches the light. Auburn ponytail. Healer's coat. The rival follows her toward the gate and toward Vane. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe!